So now we'll be learning about in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, section 2 we'll be learning, okay? For your upcoming AIB exam, very important, very crucial. Guys, for practicing people, this is something like very crucial. Along with that, for your exam perspective, I'm just covering a few important sections. Not only that, even for law students generally, if you want to learn, this is the best gateway for you. Alright, let's get started. In this Sanhita, unless the context otherwise requires, Section 2, subclause 1. Act denotes as well as series of acts as a single act. Corresponding law. Section 2, subclause 1 corresponds to Section 32 and 33 of the Indian Penal Code 1860. Okay. So what is the meaning of this act? It denotes as well as series of acts in a single act. So in this act, all the series of acts which is there, no, we are going to learn one by one. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, Section 4. That combination, that series is known as act. Okay, this is very basic. Any law student will surely be knowing it. Nothing much complicated. Section 2, subclause 2 speaks about what? Animal means any living creature other than human being. So that is also very simple. You should be knowing it. From MCQ perspective, they can ask. I know it's very lame, but it's okay for you to note it down. Okay. Child means any person below the age of 18 years. Okay. So who is a child? Anyone who is below the age of 18 years. That is child. Now we'll be learning about the next section 2, subclause 5 will be learning court. Very important for your prelims perspective, okay, or for your generally for your MCQ perspective. Very important. Court means a judge who is empowered by law to act judicially alone, or a body of judges which is empowered by law to act judicially as a body when such a judge or body of judges is acting judiciously. That means what? Court means what? A judge is basically acting judiciously as well as taking up actions. It could be through a trial, or it could be through any kind of any kind of judgment it wants to deliver in the court of law. That is basically known as the court. Okay, court means a judge who is empowered by law to act judiciously, okay, alone, or a body of judges which is empowered by the law to act judiciously as a body when a judge or body of judges is acting judiciously. Basically in a court. This is a very simple understanding. That means in a court, obviously there are judges, and the judges collective decisions are basically been, or the decision taken by the judge is always important in any aspect. Even it could be in the offense of this entire IPC also. Now section 7, section 2, subclause 7, dishonestly means doing something with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person or wrongful loss to another person. So what do you mean by this? Section 2, subclause 7 speaks about dishonesty means doing anything with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person or wrongful loss to another person. If Pavan is committing an offense or a particular crime or a particular kind of theft, which is basically what, it is the intention of wrongfully gain to one person or wrongful loss to another person. So if I'm doing something in a dishonest manner, either it could be for creating a loss to another person, or it could be, intention of causing gain to one person, then it is basically known as dishonesty. Dishonesty means basically what here in our basic English? Cheating. Yeah, that itself we can understand over here. Now, what do you mean by this? Section 2, subclause 8, document. Document means any matter expressed or described upon any substances by means of letter, figures of marks, or by other than one of those means, and includes electronic and digital records intended to be used or which may be used as evidences of the matter. Very simple. So first one, document means what? We learned that a document can be any substance like a letter which you can produce into the court of law, or it could be figures of marks that can also be produced, or by more than one of those means, and includes of electronic and digital records. So which can either be an electronic or a digital record, then it can be considered to be a document. Okay. Now I hope you guys understood what it basically means. So now we'll be learning about the next aspect. Section 2, subclause 9, fraudulently means doing anything with the intention of defrauding but not otherwise. What do you mean by intention of defrauding? Obviously here it's very important for us to prove in the court of law about the mens rea. What do you mean by mens rea? The mental state of a mind of a person. That will be able to prove it through the fraudulent action. When a person is defrauding, which basically means his mental state of mind can be understood over here. Section 2, subclause 10 speaks about gender. The pronoun he and his derivatives are used of any person, whether male, female, or transgender. This is a newly introduced section. Before in IPC it was male and female, but now they have also introduced transgender. Very important for us to note down from the exam perspective. So now gender means they've included male, female as well as transgender. As well as if you observe into this explanation, I've said that from where you have taken, they have taken it as a reference. Reference like the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. From there, they have basically taken it. Section 2, they have basically taken it from that. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. From there, they have been extracted it. Now, what do you mean by Section 2, subclause 11, good faith? Good faith is very important for us to prove. Very important, literally, for us to prove the mental state of a mind, like the mens rea, the mens rea of a particular case. Normally when a person commits a crime, it's not only actus rea. They don't look at the physical act only. They also look into the mens rea aspect. What was in mental state for a person to commit a particular offense? Good faith. Nothing is said to be done or believed in good faith which is done or believed without due care and attention. So that is the basic meaning of good faith, which most of the law students will be knowing at least by now. So that good state, that mens rea aspect is basically being considered. Now, what do you mean by Section 2, subclause 14? Speaks about injury. Injury means any harm, means any harm, whatever illegally caused to any person in the body, mind, reputation of the property. So either you're creating body injury, either you're creating injury towards the mind. Again, mens rea you need to calculate over here. Reputation to the property, that is considered to be an injury. Basic definition, very important for you to understand. Either it could be on 3 important answers. For your prelims perspective, either you're preparing for civil judge exam and all, no? Either for your prelims exam, they can ask us this question, body, mind, reputation of the property. Under Section 2, subclause 14, injury comes under what particular category? If they ask, you should be able to answer it. Okay. Now, Section 2, subclause 15 speaks about what? Illegally. Illegally and legally bound to do. The word illegally is an applicable to everything which is an offense or which is prohibited by law or which furnishes ground for a civil action, and a person is said to be legally bound to do whatever it is illegally in him to omit. So I'll tell you what do you mean by this illegally and legally. Okay, for example, just imagine illegal means, right, something doing in a wrongful manner. So also can I say you, for example, Pawan is standing near this water pool side. Okay, I'm standing near this water pool side. There's a big pool. Kamal is actually one of my friend. He's basically drowned over there. So is there any obligation that I should be going and saving him? No. If I don't save him, do you think that I'll be punishable for it? Obviously not. But if I am his swimmer trainer, okay, I am the trainer, I'm standing over there, Kamal is drowning on the water. If I don't save him, will I be punishable? Yes. Why? Because I didn't perform my act very diligently. Or for example, I am a police officer, I'm eating this bada bonji, okay. In front of me there's a crime, I'm not doing anything, okay. Do you think I'll be punishable? Yes, obviously you'll be punishable. Why? Because I've been observing that particular act. That's it. Okay. So I hope you guys got a clarity regarding it, this particular section. Now, very important, very important. Now let's see what is a judge. Very simple. You all know what this judge means. Guys, please do keep a barrack next to you. If not, you will not be understanding this. Judge means a person who is officially designed as a judge and includes a person who is section 2 subclause 16 subsection, for example, we learn about section 2 in very details and we are learning all the subsections under it. So please do make sure that you are actually familiar with all this kind of provisions as well as subsections which is under it. Okay, so judges means a person who is officially designed as a judge and includes a person who is empowered by law to give in to any legal proceedings, civil or criminal, a definite judgment or a judgment which, if not appealed against, would be definite, or a judgment which, if confirmed by some other authority, would be definite, or who is one of a body of persons which body of persons is empowered by law to give such a judgment. So judge basically means a person who delivers a judgment in a very simple language. That's the meaning of it. That's it. Okay. Now section 2 subclause if you observe subclause 17, okay, what does it says? 17, life means the life of a human being unless the contrary appears in the context. So under this, what do you mean by this 17? The life means the life of a human being. So anything which is of the life of a human being is actually section 2 subclause 17. Okay. Now 19, man means male human being or any age, of any age. Very simple, nothing much important, no. But yeah, as you dwell deep into the provisions and sections in the BNS, it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay. Section 2 subclause 21, movable property means what? Includes property of every description except land and things attached to the earth and permanently fastened, okay, or to anything which is attached to the earth. So in property act, you have learned about this movable and immovable property, so here movable property means what? Which is basically been including property of every description except land and the things which is attached with it. So anything which is of apart from the land which has been attached to the earth, apart from that, everything can be considered as a movable property. Now, few important things I want to teach you is about, see guys, also remember section 2 subclause 28 speaks about public servant means a person falling under any age of description, namely. So public, there's a lot of difference between public servant, very important, okay. Under the case of AR Antule versus the RS Nayak case, what happened in this AR Antule versus RS Nayak case? Here MP and CM is considered to be a public servant, whereas in MLA was not considered to be a public servant. Remember, in your future, in any of your exams also, they can ask you this particular thing: who is considered to be a public servant and who is not considered to be a public servant. So it's very important for you to understand it one by one. Okay. Now this is one section which I would like to really highlight for the same, and a few couple of other kind of subclause. If I say subclause 35, again it's important for you to note down. The woman means a female human being of any age. Okay, so it could be a female human being of any age. That is important. Section 2 subclause 36 speaks about wrongful gain. Means gain by unlawful means of property to which the person gaining is not legally entitled. Subsection subclause 37 is about wrongful